Hi students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. This is me Soorya, the chemistry faculty from Infinity Learn. I hope I am perfectly audible. So those who are watching the session, just mark your attendance here so that I can understand. So finally we are moving to the last chapter. We have already completed the 3 chapters about the repeated sessions, repeated topics from the chapters, right? So here is our last chapter from the CBSE syllabus for the chemistry, carbon and its compounds. We have already completed the one-shot revision of the chapter, right? We have already studied what you mean by carbon, what are the different properties of the carbon and how they are forming different compounds like ethanol and ethanoic acid, right? So here let us see what are the important topics or the repeated topics for the CBSE examination for the grade 10. So let's start from the first topic, from the carbon itself, right? So we have studied covalent bonding, right? Maybe you have idea about the ionic bonding as well as the covalent bonding. So in the case of carbon, we have studied about the covalent bonding, sharing of electrons, right? So we need to have an idea about the tetravalency of carbon. We have seen, right, the structure of carbon. While they are forming compounds, they will be sharing 4 electrons, right? So that will be known as the tetravalency or the valency of 4, right? So we have studied the tetravalency of carbon. Then we have studied about the ionic compounds and the covalent compounds. Especially we will be discussing detail about the chemical bonding chapter in the higher classes. But in the case of this chapter, we have studied the difference between ionic and the covalent compounds. So by terms of the properties, you can expect more questions, especially for the 2 marks. The difference between ionic and the covalent compounds, especially from the properties part, you can expect 2 marks question. Then, why carbon is forming the... Hi, good evening. So, why carbon is forming the different compounds, right? Because of their tetravalency as well as their self-combination property. We have studied, right? They can easily form by themselves to form the different compounds. That is known as the catenation property or ability to form long chains. So, they are forming the hydrocarbons, right? Especially hydrocarbons like alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. So because of these property, they are forming the huge variety of compounds. So maybe they will be asking about the what is about the versatile nature of carbon. That is very important topic from the carbon and its compounds. I hope you understand about the first topic. Then here is our next topic from the chapter, which is repeating again and again about the IUPAC naming. We have studied, right? IUPAC naming of the carbon compounds. From that, we have studied about the homologous series. So what do you mean by the homologous series? Anyone? Those who are watching the live? So we have studied especially for the hydrocarbons, we have seen the alkenes, alkenes and alkynes, right? So we have studied there in the case of homologous series, there will be different, in the series of compounds, there will be the different compounds that will be having a difference in the molecule of CH2 molecule, right? So for example, if I am taking about the case of, let's say about the alkenes, right? What will be the general formula of alkenes? CnH2n plus 2, right? N will be the number of carbon atoms. H2n plus 2 will be the number of hydrogen atoms. For example, if you are writing the first carbon compound in the case of alkene, that will be our methane, right? CH4. Then what about the next one? It will be C2H6, right? C2H6. This is our methane. This is our ethane, right? Then third compound will be C3H8, right? So that will be propane. So what is the difference here? This is a series of compounds, series of the alkenes. As you can see over here, there will be a difference of CH2 molecule, right? If you are adding a CH2 molecule to the CH4, you will be getting the next compound, ethane, over here. So such type of series are known as the homologous series of alkenes here. Similarly, you can get the homologous series of different compounds, different functional groups also. Is that clear? So that's about the homologous series. Then in the case of functional groups, we have studied about the hydroxy group, alcohols. Then aldehydes, right, CHO group. COOH means carboxylic acid, and this is the ketone compound, right? This is ketone, carboxylic acid, and it's like the halogen compounds, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. The last one is the nitro compound, right? NO2 is the nitro compound. We have already studied the different functional groups along with their IUPAC naming. I hope you remember. And the last property is about the last topic is from the properties of homologous series, especially for the general formula. So for example, in the case of alkenes, CnH2n plus 2 will be the general formula. Then in the case of alkenes, alkenes are the double bonded carbon compounds, right? They will be having CnH2n is the general formula. Then for alkynes, right, they are having the triple carbon bond. So they will be having CnH2n minus 2 will be their general formula. So you can expect any question from these topic itself, functional groups in the homologous series. Then here is the next topic, again from the IUPAC naming of the compound. First we will be starting from the simple straight chain compounds like alkenes, alkynes, alcohols and aldehydes, like the functional groups over there. So while doing the naming, very important part is the numbering of carbon atoms and locating the double or triple bonds. So for example, if you have any compound like to give the IUPAC name of the compound, first identify the longest chain, right? Longest chain and identify the number of carbon atoms there. Depending upon the carbon atom, there will be word roots are present, right? So for example, if you have in the carbon number is equal to 1, the word root will be meth. For 2, it will be eth and so on, right? You have already idea about that. Six till 10 you must have an idea about that. So meth, prop, bute and pen, so on. So first you need to identify the longest chain containing the carbon number. So depending upon the carbon number, you will be getting the word root. Then we need to focus about the functional groups present over there. According to the priority group, you need to give the numbering of the compounds. Then you will be getting the proper naming of the compounds according to the IUPAC. I hope you remember. And this is very important. If you have any double or triple bond, you need to give the numbering according to that, right? So we have already completed the one-shot revision for the same chapter, and I have already completed the previous for the same chapter. You can refer in our channel, already recorded there. Okay, the next topic is from the, important chemical reactions. We have studied, right? Hydrocarbons, they can be classified into alkenes, alkenes and alkynes. We have studied the combustion of hydrocarbons. So what do you mean by the combustion? The reaction with oxygen, right? So easily they are forming the carbon dioxide plus water. So they are known as the combustion of hydrocarbons. Many examples are given in our textbook itself, so you can refer from there. Then the next one, we have studied about the carbon and its compounds, especially the ethanol and ethanoic acid. Ethanol means it is a hydroxy compound or the OH group containing compound. C2H5OH is the chemical formula of ethanol, right? Then ethanoic acid means CH3COH, 2 carbon containing carboxylic acid. We have already studied many properties depending upon the ethanoic acid and the ethanol. That's again very important. Then, okay, in the case of hydrocarbons, we have studied the addition reaction, right? Addition reaction means we will be adding hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst. They will be forming the corresponding hydrocarbons, right? For example, if you are taking the double bonded or triple bonded compounds. So, for example, let's take an example here. If I am taking CH2 double bond CH2, what will be the name of this compound? What will be the name of this compound? So this is the 2 carbon containing compound. 2 carbon means word root will be eth, right? There will be a double bond is present, so that their suffix will be ene. So this is the ethene compound. So if you are adding hydrogen in presence of the catalyst like nickel, this is known as the addition reaction. For the unsaturated hydrocarbons, they will be forming the saturated hydrocarbon of ethane, right? 2 carbon containing compound. There is only single bond is present, so this is the alkane compound. Name will be ethane. That's about the first reaction given here. Then about the substitution reaction. Again, we have studied about the chlorination of methane there. A direct equation is given there. Just refer from there in the textbook. Then the reaction of ethanol, right? Like treating with sodium, acetic acid. So if you are reacting the ethanol with the acetic acid, the reaction is known as the esterification. I hope you remember. So if you are treating the ethanol and ethanoic acid together, they will be forming an ethyl ethanoate as the ester there. They will be having a pleasant fruity smell that is used in the perfume production. We have studied, right? And next one is the alkaline KMnO4. If you are treating ethanol with the alkaline KMnO4, they will be directly converting to the ethanoic acid, right? Then the reaction of ethanoic acid, especially this ethanoic acid will be treating with any of the base like sodium hydroxide. They will be forming the salt and water, that is the neutralization reaction. Then again esterification reaction, right? We will be treating the ethanoic acid with the ethanol. Then the reaction with carbonates and bicarbonates. These are the very important reactions based on the ethanoic acid and the ethanol. So you can expect direct questions from these topics only for 2 or 3 marks. So chemical reactions are very important from the chapter carbon and its compounds. Repeating again, mainly focus on the esterification reaction as well as the properties of ethanoic acid. And the last topic in the chapter is about the soaps and detergents, right? So what do you mean by soaps? What is the difference between soaps and the detergents are very important. Again, that will be asking about the 2 marks question. So you must have a proper idea about the soaps and detergents. At least study 2 points based on the soaps and detergents. So soaps will be react with the soft water only, right? They will be react with the soft water only. But in the case of synthetic detergents, that will treat with hard water also, right? Then the next one is the structure of soap molecules, hydrophilic and hydrophobic ends. Maybe you have idea about that, the micelle formation, right? So for example, if you are drawing the structure of the soap molecule, so this is the hydrophobic end, hydrophilic end, right? Water loving end. And this tail is the hydrophobic end part. So whenever you are adding in the dirt particles, they will be come together to form a circular form known as the micelle formation. I hope you remember. This is about the structure of soap molecules. So if there is any question based on the micelle formation of the soap molecules, just try to draw the structure of the micelle formation. That will be getting a good marks or the higher marks in the examination. Draw the proper structure of the micelle formation. Then hard water versus soft water reaction for the detergents and soaps. Then I am repeating again about the diagrams and conversions, right? So structures for CH4, methane, C2H6, water, ammonia, these we have studied, right? So you can just focus on the carbon compounds here, CH4 and C2H6. Try to draw the structure of the CH4 and C2H6, especially for the dot structures, right? So this will be the structural formula of the methane. So if you are drawing the structure for the dot structure, right? So 4 valency of carbon will be 4 over here. Each hydrogen will be having 1 electron over there, right? These dots are representing the electrons over there. So that they will be forming the compounds, right? I hope you understand. My drawing is not that much perfect. So each dots are representing the electrons present over there. This is for the structure of CH4. Similarly, you can draw the structure for the C2H6 and C3. Okay, C2H6 and C3H8 also, depending upon the electron dot structure. Then the flow charts of the conversions like ethanol to ethanoic acid, then ethanoic acid to ester, right? How we can convert the ethanol to ethanoic acid? Ethanol to ethanoic acid, how we can convert? So this will be our ethanol, right? That will be treating with either alkaline KMnO4 or acidified K2Cr2O7. That will be converting to CH3COOH, right? That is our ethanoic acid. Then whenever these ethanoic acid is treated with the C2H5OH, I mean similarly ethanol, right? That will be forming the corresponding ester. So this reaction is known as the reduction of the, this reaction is known as the oxidation of the alcohol, and this is known as the esterification part. Then the unsaturated hydrocarbon plus hydrogen gives saturated hydrocarbon. We have studied, right? For example, if you are taking any of the molecule, right, simply we can take the simple compound CH2W1CH2. You will be adding hydrogen in presence of any catalyst like nickel. That will be adding hydrogen to form CH3CH3. That is our saturated hydrocarbon ethane. So this is about the conversion, and in the case of diagram part, you can expect question for the miscellany formation. So that are the important topics that will already repeated many times in the examination for the chapter carbon and its compound. And there is a simple tip for the examination. Learn the general formulas of alkenes like CnHn2H2n plus 2 for the alkenes. For alkenes it will be CnH2n, right? So from the formula you can identify the chemical formula or the molecular formula of the compounds. Then for alkanes it will be CnH2n minus 2, right? So that you can identify whether it is the saturated hydrocarbons or the unsaturated hydrocarbons. Then practice nomenclature thoroughly. This is the most scoring area. So try to solve maximum previous year questions for the IUPAC naming of the compounds. Then the next part is about the prepare reaction equations for the ethanol and ethanoic acid, often asked. So like the reactions based on the ethanol with sodium, acid, right? Sodium and acid. Then the conversion of ethanol to ethanoic acid. Then what about the use of ethanoic acid? The reaction with the sodium hydroxide, like any bases, right? Reaction with bases, metals, carbonates and bicarbonates, right? Carbonates and bicarbonates. Then last one is the esterification reaction. Now I am repeating again in the case of soap cleansing action, right? The diagram, the miscellany formation. You can expect the question in terms of 3 to 5 marks questions, especially for the diagram of the soaps and detergent, especially for the soaps cleansing action of the soaps miscellany formation diagram. A proper diagram is given in your textbook. Okay, do you have any doubt in any part of the chapter we have discussed here? So this was the last topic from the chapter that we can expect many times for the examination. So just try to practice these questions based on the topics we have studied in the carbon and its compounds. So please let me know what is the IUPAC name of these compound. So first you need to identify the longest chain containing the carbon atoms. Then giving the numbering according to the priority group to the functional groups given here. So what will be the answer for this question? First you need to identify the longest chain containing carbon atoms, right? So you can see over here this is a 5 carbon compound, so the word root will be pent. Then I will be giving the numbering starting from CHO group over here, because aldehyde group is more prioritized than the double bonded carbon here, right? So numbering from start from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how we can give the numbering here, or how we can give the naming here? See, you can see over here the first carbon is the aldehyde carbon and the second carbon is the double bonded carbon. So the word, suffix will be ENE here, right? So pent, position of the double bonded, pent to E. And in order to identify the presence of the CHO group, we will be giving the suffix as AL, right? So pent to enal will be the IUPAC name of this compound. Is there any doubt? So just remember here, if you are having the functional group as the CHO, the suffix will be AL. Then if it is having the OH group, that suffix will be OL. Then if it is the double bonded carbon, that is ON. So that will be the name of this compound. The next question is how would you convert ethanol into ethanoic acid? Write the chemical equation involved. So is there any question based on the chemical equation? Just try to write down the balanced chemical equation here. So here it is C2H5OH, right? Ethanol. We will be treating with either alkaline KMnO4 or acidified K2Cr2O7. That will be forming the corresponding ethanoic acid, right? That will be the chemical equation for the conversion of ethanol to ethanoic acid. Then the next question is write 2 reactions to show the acidic nature of ethanoic acid. So how we can answer this question? So in order to show the acidic nature of acid, you will be giving 2 reactions. Based on that, this acid will be reacting with any of the bases given, right? So for example, I am taking here as acid, ethanoic acid, right? So this will be our acetic acid or the ethanoic acid. That will be treating with the sodium hydroxide, one of the base, right? It's one of the strong base. Undergoing the neutralization reaction, a salt is forming as a sodium ethoxide, right? CH3COONA plus water. So this is one of the reaction. Then they are asking about the 2 reactions, right? The second reaction will be, we will be treating the same ethanoic acid with the any of the either bicarbonate or the carbonates. They will be forming the same sodium salt along with carbon dioxide and water. And the last question is based on the difference between soaps and detergents, right? So we have already studied in the case of soaps, they are the sodium or potassium salts of the fatty acids, and here it is the sodium or potassium salts of the benzene sulfonic acid, right? Here it is the fatty acids. Then soaps are react directly with the soft water, while detergents will be easily react with the soft water as well as the hard water. So these are the major difference between the detergents and the soaps given here, especially for the 2 marks question. Okay, I hope you understand. So this is all about from my side for today about the chapter carbon and its compounds. I'm repeating again, you can expect more questions from the IUPAC naming of the carbon compounds, then about the chemical reactions of carbons, especially ethanol and the ethanoic acid. The last one is about the micelle formation. Soap cleansing action of soap and the detergents, micelle formation. Try to draw the diagram of, neatly in the examination. That will help you to give the higher marks or the full marks in the examination. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we can end the session for today. So we have already idea about the SCORE examination, right? Citizen Academy is providing an opportunity for the scholarship examination SCORE. The exam will be conducting on the September 28th. Only 1 week, not 1 week, right? Few days are remaining for the examination. So those who are not registered, just register now. The link will be provided in the description. Before 26, you need to register for the examination. As you can see over here, right? This is about the 2.5 crore cash rewards and exciting gadgets will be provided. Up to 100% scholarships are provided and NASA trips are also provided. And our aim is to identify the students which is having the higher academic excellence. So this is applicable for the students from grade 3 to 12. Those who are not registered yet, just register now. Link will be provided in the description. So that's all about from my side for today. Thank you so much all of you. If you really like the session, hit the like button and subscribe our channel and share this particular session to your friends also. That will be really helpful for them. The next classes I will be coming back with the NCERT exercise for the different chapters. Starting from the chemical reactions and equation, we will be completing about the carbon and its compounds chapter. So till then, bye bye all of you. See you in the next class. Bye bye.